Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our class. This is Teacher Fritz, and in today's lesson, we are going to talk about the why and how of school and community partnership. But before that, let us first present the learning outcomes of this lesson. By the end of the lesson, students are expected to explain what school and community partnership means, explain the legal and sociological basis of school and community partnership, and cite examples of school community partnerships. Now, partnership implies that two parties help each other and benefit from one another. This means that if a school community partnership exists, both parties benefit from the relationship. Thus, in this lesson presentation, we will focus on answering two questions. One is that what can the community do for schools? And the second question is, what can schools do for the communities in return? Now, first, let us go to the first question. What can the community do for schools? Now, here are some concrete examples of what a community can do for schools. Number one is BRIGADA ESKWELA. BRIGADA ESKWELA was institutionalized since 2009 through DepEd Order number 100. This program engages all education stakeholders to contribute their time, effort, and resources in ensuring that the public school facilities are set in time for the forthcoming school opening. It takes place more or less 2 weeks before classes begin, usually around June and this time around August. The second one is the curriculum development. This can mean the use of the community resources for learning such as museums, and the elders of the community as the key informants in research or resource persons in the study of the local history. Next, we have the work experience programs. Now, business establishments and offices in the community can serve as the training ground for the learners. A concrete example is the work immersion required of the senior high school students, wherein in this work immersion program, students are given the opportunity to work in relevant establishments or offices in the community to help develop in them the competencies, work ethics, and values relevant to pursuing further education and or joining the world of work. Partner offices for immersion provide senior high school students with opportunities to become familiar with the workplace, for employment simulation, and to apply their competencies in areas of specialization or applied subjects in authentic work environments. Now, in this school community partnership, the school can fulfill what the curriculum requires and may improve on their curriculum based on the community feedback, enables the students to undergo hands-on work experience, while the community establishments contribute to the formation of graduates who are more ready for life and more equipped for the world of work. Now, business establishments or any world of work in the community are the ultimate beneficiaries of these graduates who have been more prepared through work immersion. Now, some schools call this as the service learning since it actively involves the students in a wide range of experiences which benefits the students and the community at the same time, fulfilling the requirement of the curriculum. Next, we have the remediation and enrichment classes. Now, for this one, parents and retired teachers may be involved in the school reading remediation and learning enrichment programs. Next, youth development programs. Now, the young may involve themselves in youth development programs and develop their skills and talents and learn how to deal positively with peers and adults and serve as resources in their communities. Next, we have the community service. Examples of community service are students participating in tutorial programs, community reforestation programs, cleanup drive for a river, assisting in medical mission, school head involved in the planning local celebrations, teachers managing programs, projects, activities, school band playing during the fiesta parade. Now, let us go to the next question and let us try to answer this one. What can schools do for communities in return? Now, schools may allow the community to use the school resources. Now, here are some concrete examples enumerated by the DepEd Primer on School Community Partnership. The first one is the classrooms used by the community organizations for meetings. Next, the school used as a polling place and venue for medical mission, which it may co-sponsor with the Rural Health Unit. Next, school used as an evacuation center during natural calamities. Next, we have school used by the Rural Health Unit for the mother's class on childcare. Schools facilities used for community assemblies. Next, we have school basketball court used for local celebration and barangay sports league. Next, schools conduct livelihood skills training programs for parents and out-of-school youths by using the school resources. And last but not the least, livelihood skills training for parents and out-of-school youth by teachers themselves. Now, let us try to answer this question. Now, what are the learnings that we can get from the experiences of schools and community partnership? Now, so let us take a look at this example from Dumingaga Central School, wherein they do have this strong school community partnership. One of the programs that they do have is the feeding program, which is maintained by the community donors such as Mother Butler Mission Guild, barangay councils, the office of the mayor, and of course the parents who budgeted, cooked, and purchased the food. Another program that they do have is the Kiddie Cup classes, wherein CUPS lectures on good manners and right conduct, drug addiction, child abuse, child welfare, and they also have this Municipal Welfare and Development Office, Municipal Health Office, wherein they conduct special classes on health and nutrition and the rights of the child. Now, another example is from the Angels Magic Spot and Project REACH of Pembo Elementary School in Makati. Now, Pembo Angels Magic Spot, or PAMS, were the volunteer environmental steward students of Pembo Elementary Schools, while Magic Spots were the small dump sites or empty lots in the barangay, which were converted by the students into vegetable gardens, from which the members of the barangay could harvest from the gardens for home supply, and the schools for their feeding programs, or sold them for cash for the purchase of seedlings and planting of more vegetables. PAMS brought together students, teachers, school head, parents, barangay officials, and other members of the community. Clean up little nooks for garbage and converted them into green areas with vegetables shared by all. It also taught gardening skills and positive attitude toward work to students and supplemented the feeding program of the underweight and the malnourished in the school with their other project called BOLS, which is the brain operates well on loaded stomach, where in every recess, children who were selected by the school as bowl beneficiaries due to malnutrition were provided a free bowl of lugaw. Now, another effective practice by this school is called the REACH, which stands for Revitalized Enthusiasm for Assistance to Children of Humanity, where each teacher adopted one student and acted as his or her mentor for the entire school year. Now, the teacher gave free tutorial to the adopted student each during his or her free time, and visit the student's family every now and then, and in some instances gave the student a daily allowance of 10 pesos from the teacher's own pocket. Now, this program contributed to the improved performance of the Pembo Elementary Schools, 23rd in the rank in the division achievement test, and they zoomed up to rank 9. So from 23rd in the rank, they zoomed up to rank 9, and 6 years later, they became rank 1 with near zero dropout rate. No? So another very effective practice is called the Pera sa Panapon. This was a weekly trash market where students, their parents, and other members of the community were invited to bring their recyclable garbage, and then the project helped the school purchase the necessary supplies and was able to support two students to a 2010 math competition in Singapore. So as we can see, these are all very sustainable community school partnership programs. Now, what are the sociological basis of this school and community partnership? Why do we have to have this school and community partnership? Now, the functionalist theory states that institutions must perform their respective functions for the stability of the society. Now, other institutions must come in if one institution fails to do its part for the sake of community, for the sake of the society or community. Now, the school cannot do it all. As the saying goes, it takes a village to educate a child. Therefore, schools must work in partnership with other institutions in the community, such as the church, government organizations, and non-government organizations for the benefit of the children. You know, so that means that the school, church, and other institutions come in to assist parents in their irreplaceable obligation, because the rearing and education of the child is the primary obligation of the parents. The school, the church, and other social institutions come in to assist the parents and families to fulfill their irreplaceable obligation. However, with a breakdown of the marriages and the demand for both mother and father going to work to meet the demands of the rising cost of living, resulting to less or practically no more time for parents to spend time with their children, have, however, attacked the stability of families and have adversely affected families in the performance of their irreplaceable duty to educate their children. Added to these is the increasing number of families composed of broken marriages, and the breakdown of families. The schools face greater challenge in educating the young, no? And also, With the increasing number of families composed of single mothers which are struggling to raise a family with the burden of earning large slowly on the shoulders of one parent, single parents struggle to earn enough to provide for their families, and consequently, this responsibility leads to their having a uh, limited amount of time to spend for and with their growing and developing children who unfortunately become more likely single parent families themselves, and the cycle goes on. So um, this is not to mention the negative effect of uncontrolled and unregulated use of technology on the young. While the use of technology has brought a lot of convenience, its uncontrolled and unregulated use by the tech-savvy kids expose these kids to all sorts of information which are not necessarily favorable for their development. And so families, schools, and other social institutions need to work together to save these children and the youth. Now let us go to the different legal basis for parents and the community involvement. Now the first one is RA 9155, or the Governance of the Basic Education Act, wherein in Section 10, it states that one of the responsibilities of the school head is to establish schools and community networks and encourage the active participation of teachers, organizations, non-academic personnel of public schools, and parent-teachers community association. And the same act encourages teachers to local initiatives for the improvement of schools and learning centers, and to provide the means by which the improvements may be achieved and sustained. Now, another law which supports the school community partnership is the BATAS Pambansa bilang 232, which is also otherwise known as the Education Act of 1982, which states in Section 7 that every educational institution shall provide for the establishment of appropriate bodies through which the members of the educational community may discuss relevant issues, to communicate information and suggestions for assistance and support of the school, and for the promotion of their common interest. And representatives from each subgroup of the educational community shall sit and participate in these bodies, the rules and procedures of which may be approved by them and duly published. Now, another law which supports the school community partnership is the RA 8525, which allows private entities to assist a public school, whether elementary, secondary, or tertiary, in but not limited to the following areas: staff and faculty development for training and further education, construction of facilities, upgrading of existing facilities, provision of books, publications, and other instructional materials, and modernization of instructional technologies. Now, even the EFA, or the Philippine Education for All 2015 plan, then a vision and a holistic program of reforms that aim to improve the quality of basic education program for every Filipino by the end of 2015, likewise states that schools shall continue to harness local resources and facilitate involvement of every sector of the community in the school improvement process. Now, this EFA 2015 plan was extended in the Education for All beyond 2015 to 2030 agenda The Agenda 2030 has 7 new educational targets from 2015 to 2030 that must involve education stakeholders, which in essence is the School Community Partnership. UNESCO Assistant Director General for Education, Dr. Kian Tang himself admits that Agenda 2030 cannot be realized without the schools partnering with the community. He said that our vision must be more aggressive, more committed, not just in involving government, non-government agencies, but all stakeholders. Now, another law is the going back to education, R8 9155. It states that partnership between school and community also ensures that educational programs, projects, and service takes into account the interest of all members of the community, and the schools and learning centers reflect the values of the community by allowing teachers or learning facilitators and other staff to have flexibility to serve the needs of all teachers, and local initiatives for the improvement of schools and learning centers are encouraged, and the means by which improvements may be achieved and sustained are provided. Now, let us always remember that school and community partnership means school head, teachers, learners, parents of the learners, and non-teaching personnel working together with civic and religious leaders, alumni, and other parents, non-government organizations, government organizations for the good and benefit of the children. Now, I hope you learned something from our discussion today. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask it and comment it on the comment section below. Thank you very much, guys, for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. God bless and goodbye.